Hi, Chef Ryan Phillips here. Down in Jeju Island, the king of Korean citrus slowly ripens all the way from October to January, but it's at its peak for harvest right now. That's Hallabong. And today we're gonna squeeze all the flavor out of this island winter ray of sunshine into a Hallabong beef and rice. All right, now the real star of today's show is this Hallabong from Jeju Island. Now, this is a little sweeter than an orange really is, and it's a special citrus around here. Now, if you can't find these, you could use maybe one orange with a couple of tangerines and you'll get a similar flavor profile. But hopefully you can find them. They've been exported around the world for over 10 years, and it might be a little expensive, but you gotta give them a try. Now let's take a look at our beef here. I've got tenderloin today, but you could use maybe sirloin or other cuts of beef. I just like how tender this is, but I put it in the freezer for just 30 minutes so it firmed up a bit so I can slice this nice and thin. So, what we wanna get are some nice thin pieces across the grain. So let's start getting some flavor on here. We're just gonna go in with some salt. Now, the amount of salt that you use is totally up to you, but remember, these are cut really thin and we're gonna do both sides. So don't over-season, just a pinch across these thin slices. A little bit of black pepper. Next, I've got some potato starch. You can use cornstarch as well. And that's so that later our sauce that we make with that Hallabong is gonna stick to these so much better. Let's go ahead and cook up our beef tenderloin here. I'm gonna get some high heat going on this pan. Just a little bit of cooking oil. Pan's good and hot. All right, very important, let's not overcrowd the pan. That's why I'm doing this in smaller batches. If you've got too many in that pan at once, that moisture is gonna keep you from getting a nice little crispy edges that we want on here. Just 45 seconds on each side. Now let's turn back to our Hallabong. These beauties right here. Now, if you've got these imported to you, then they might have a wax coating on them. So you wanna use baking soda and hot water together to kind of remove that wax coating. Luckily here, these are domestic. I'm just gonna rinse mine in some hot water. Now to get that flavor, that zest flavor, I've got a couple of different types of zesters. This is a microplane. If you don't have one, get one. Very useful in the kitchen. This will get the light, thin layers, that really bright, citrusy rays of sunshine. And you just kind of roll it along here. I wish you could smell this right now. It's so vibrant. Oh, super sweet, super juicy. But getting this zest into this is just another world, especially in the dead of winter. And now, if you have this little edge right here on this traditional style zester, you can do this as well. You can get some nice, deeper cuts here. And this is gonna give us some lovely bitter notes in our sauce. Now that we got the flavor from the zest, we're gonna get the flavor from the juice as well. So I'm gonna take one of these, cut it in half, and just squeeze out. Check out how much juice comes out of these. But now with our second one, I'm just gonna peel it, and we're gonna cut some beautiful little segments to go in as a final touch. Cutting these little segments is just a great way to get nice tender bites without any of that pulp in there, and it'll add a beautiful finishing touch to our dish today. It's time to start building our sauce. And when I think about citrus, I think about other flavors that can go well with that. For one, definitely is ginger. We've got some fresh ginger already peeled. Let's just slice these thin, and then we'll just slice them into little matchsticks. Now, so far, all of our flavors with the citrus and that beef tenderloin, all those textures are really, really soft and tender. So I want to get a little flavor or textural contrast. And these chilies are not real spicy, but they'll give that nice little crunch, that little contrast with our dish. They're not very spicy, but we're gonna take all the seeds out. So after removing the seeds, just slice them crossways into little matchsticks. It's time to put everything together. I'm gonna start by heating up a pan, nice and hot. Now I've got about 200 milliliters that we squeezed out of our 2 Hallabong. 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. And since we've got about 200 milliliters of juice, I'm gonna do 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Next, a little bit of vinegar, just to brighten everything up a bit. We're gonna do 2 to 3 tablespoons. Now we just wanna let this get up to a boil. I just want to reduce this down to medium, and we'll get kind of a lower boil and get some more flavors added in here. I've got some fresh ginger here and our chilies. We're just going to let this go for about 3 minutes. All right, now that these flavors have melded together here well, it's time to get our zest in here. We're gonna go in with all of it. And we're gonna let this go for just 2 more minutes. You may have noticed that our sauce is a little thin, and to help it really stick to our beef, we're gonna add a little bit of a potato starch slurry. So I've got 2 tablespoons of water and just a little bit of potato starch, maybe 1 tablespoon. Now this can go straight in. Yeah, you can already see. Now we have a lovely sticky sauce. There's one more little trick that you can shock or surprise or mystify your dinner guests with. If you can find a few caraway seeds, pairs perfectly with citrus. Some folks know there are some breads out there across Europe that'll have caraway and citrus together. So I'm just gonna hit this in my mortar and pestle. This is just about a teaspoon going in. Give that a little stir. And one last final touch. Remember those segments that we cut from our Hallabong? I just want to warm those through by getting them into our saucepan. We're almost done. We just want to let our beef warm back through in our sauce and get coated in all that Hallabong goodness. Now, just about 1 minute, we just want to warm our beef tenderloin back through and get it coated in that sauce. So I'm going to turn that heat off now and go to plating this up. Oh, beautiful. I'm really happy with the way this turned out. Making me really hungry here. Just gonna garnish with a bit of scallions and we are done. Hallabong beef and rice. This smells so great. I can't wait to dive in here. Right off the bat, the Hallabong brightness, that quintessential Jeju flavor just pops. And we've got not only that brightness, but from these little bits of the deeper peel, there's that little bit of a bitter contrast. So good.